Hey y'all, it's Jax, and I've got an announcement. So this is the last episode you're gonna see before I push through the truck rebuilding series, okay? Joe's been working hard, truck's been down in Billings. Got so much footage stuff that I'm putting together to start kicking out. So just wanted to give you a heads up that that is going to probably be the next 5 videos in a row will all be having to do with the process of getting that modern engine out of the truck, getting the old one that was rebuilt in it, doing all the schwa, taking it out on the road, testing it out, getting her tuned up, tuned in, and rocking and rolling. So that's upcoming, you guys. This is a trip that I think you'll like in old Blue 3. Okie dokie. Whoo! Blue 3 back in action. Back in action. Of course, we're in Blue 3 because the Pete is down at Joe's in the midst of the schwappage, the Frankenstein. Maybe that's what we will call the Pete, Frankenstein. I don't know. I had a Frankenstein in years past. Actually, no, I can't name him Frankenstein because I still have that truck. Never mind. Scratch the Frankenstein. It's officially scratched from the record. We're going out, y'all. Loading calves in the morning. About 2.5 hours west of here to take down to Pokey Feeders, Scott City, Kansas. I know a lot of you know where that is. Little snow coming down. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Just in time for Cabover season. Why not?
What pump number you at?
Yeah, pump number 31.
Company name?
Wild Wild West.
Well, gotcha.
Thanks. Hey, here's a little word to the wise. If you're trucking in Montana, my personal Montana recommendation for fuel, Town Pump. Okay, remember that name, Town Pump. They're like the Montana only truck stops all over the state. Here's why. From November 1st until March 31st, this is their number 2 diesel. They put additive into it that's good down to 20 below zero. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't tell you how often, well, you've dealt with it if you're on the road. You're constantly like, hey, how good's your diesel? You know, what's it gonna take for cold? I don't know. Sorry. Is it written down anywhere? Do we have any? Nope. So then you go, well, I got to treat it. So you treat it, not knowing. Of course, you want to play it safe, right? So I love that about Town Pump. Man, back in the action. Look at that. Woo! I forgot, even just driving into town here, I've forgotten how much I love this truck. I forget. I have a short memory, right? I always say that. I'm like, I forgot how much I love this truck or that truck. It just feels good. It's gonna be about 5 degrees when we get up there to sleep tonight. It's pretty calm, there's no wind. So 5 degrees with no wind really isn't too bad. This truck, I don't know if you remember, it has a antifreeze coolant heater that also heats the truck. So I treated my tanks, they should be good because they have summer diesel in them. I had half tanks. So here's my logic. I treated them, full treat for the full tank. That should put it good down to 40 below. Then I'm coming in and I'm topping off with this number 2 diesel that's treated to 20 below. All in the hopes that I can shut my truck off, not idle tonight. Let that heater do its job and keep this diesel fuel intact. Man, oh man, it's just kind of hiding over there. Doesn't even stick out past the pumps. Can't even see it. You're like, where's your truck? There it is. It always makes me a little happy to see that exhaust pipe, my janky little exhaust pipe. Under these LED fluorescent-y white lights, they are so unforgiving for diesel smoke, haze, you know. And she's looking real good, real clean. See that? Well, so just give me a little road we're on. Got a nice little ditch to the left, little trench to the right. Our chute is back over there. by the light. Not totally sure how to get in there. This may be one of those get out and walk it. I'm guessing we take a right here. Probably loops by that haystack, I'll betcha. Oh yeah. There's some cattle. These might be some of the ones we're hauling. So we're gonna come in here, chutes back there. We'll go in front of this tractor, hang a left and park it right over there. You can already tell I have a conundrum about my anti-idling plans for tonight. I'll explain it here when I get wiggled in. Man, it's nice getting around in this Cabover. I've forgotten how these corners are such a beautiful thing. Okay, I'm gonna shut her down. Here's my conundrum, all right? Checking the weather, like it's calm right now. There's no wind, lightly snowing. It's not like nasty outside by any means. It's very crisp, very cold. It's about 7 degrees, which I thought was basically the low for the night, but it's showing that it's gonna dip even colder. It's gonna tickle the whiskers of 0 degrees. Now, do I think that my fuel is conditioned and going to be fine? Yes. Do I think that this hydronic heater has all the power in the world to run tonight and to keep my coolant at 150 degrees and also keep my cab in here at 65 degrees? Yes. Am I going to idle my truck tonight? Yes. And it's gonna kill me. Here's the thing. I'm not joking, you guys. I've probably could count the nights that I have idled my truck for a full night on this on this hand. And you guys are probably all laughing at me because the bulk of you probably idle your trucks all the time in the cold, right? Like it's a common practice. It drives me insane because I just sit there and I know the engine's, turning. And my thought is, what if I shut it off and just I have an air compressor problem in the morning or something freezes because, my air governor, my air dryer hasn't been kicking off regularly through the night. So what if that freezes up and in the morning I got to dink around trying to thaw that out and, find the blockage and et cetera, et cetera. The cattle, I'm here at the chute. The cattle are here. We get up, we load, we're going. Here's the question I asked myself to make that determination. If I didn't idle the truck and I woke up in the morning and had problems, it fired up, but whatever, say it wasn't building air, something, would I be furious at myself for not idling when it was this cold in this particular situation? Yes. Good morning. Look there, that's where I parked. Always like to make sure there's nothing wacky. This is my steer tire, engine, goo from the road, but no leaks, no nothing. Hey, it was cold enough that it didn't melt the ground. A lot of times it melts the ground under where you park, under your engine from sitting there all night. It did not, so. It is cold, man. These gates, the grease, it's chilly. Beautiful little feed yard though, all this wood. I love wood. Love wood corrals. Steel is nice because it's all durable, but man, wood just looks nice. Yeah, 17. Come on, old buzz. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Ho! 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 Come on, little buzz. Ho! It's like the dentist when you get a shot in your mouth. It's a little pinch. Oh, yeah, I got good room. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hoping for 14. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and none of them tried to run me over. family operation. You remember the road from last night? A little harder to see in the snow, isn't it? Those headlights kind of enhanced everything. But we'll make this tight corner up here and we'll be good. I tell you, the thing I forgot about being in Blue 2 already, you guys, is it is so much lighter. I can really pack a beautiful payload with this truck without having an extra axle on it. I loaded 64,000 pounds, and that should, my balance might not be perfect as far as trailer weight versus truck weight and having everything balanced just right, but gross weight, we should be right on the button. Okay, we got that last corner done. Boy, that was tight. I could see my tracks last night where I came in, and I made it plumb fine. It was what you'd consider a one-shot driveway, where because of the snow and ice and going up the hill into that place, you can't really stop and do a 3-point turn to get in. It was real tight, but you only had one shot to get it. Oh, you guys want the big reveal, the big face reveal? Okay, you ready? Did you think I shaved or cut my hair? That was a mean trick, I know. Well, wasn't that nice of them? Look at that. Sanded the corner for me. Bringing her down off this called Drockett Hill. It drops down into the Sun River Valley out of the eastern edges of the Fairfield Bench, they call it. If you're a geography nut, that engine light that you may or may not have noticed that's on, has been on. Coolant level sensor in my coolant tank is sensing improperly. Thinks that we're low on antifreeze. We're not. It comes on, it reads as low antifreeze, so we check it. It's full, everything's fine. The temporary fix for that is that you unplug the sensor, and then the engine light just stays on, and your truck also stays on, and then you just got to be mindful of your antifreeze. So, of course, not something I'm going to leave that way, but it had slipped my mind in all the madness of trucking and such here the last 6 months, and it's a good reminder. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get a new sensor. I will tell you one thing I'm really missing coming down these hills is that X15 Jake brake, and I knew I would. I honestly think that an N14 Jake brake's a little worse than a Series 60. I think a Series 60 Jake brake is just a touch softer, not quite as aggressive as a 3406 Jake brake on a Cat, or a 6NZ model Cat Jake brake. I think it goes Cat. The Detroit is just a couple miles an hour behind that when you're coming down a hill, and then an N14's about 5 miles an hour slower than the both of them when you're coming down hills, as far as trying not to use your brakes and just let your Jake brake handle the load. My brother's on the highway. Ooh. Oh, and for the astute, also, sorry, I keep noticing all these things that I'm like, oh, if somebody saw that, they're probably like, what? That? That's my little stainless steel cup out there that this guy clipped to his mirror to keep his drinks cool. So that was last night's Diet Mountain Dew. I know. Everyone's like, Diet Mountain Dew is the grossest thing ever. No, that may be. Just a little snow and a little blow. Nothing serious here, nothing too crazy. Looks like some fog lifting off. Hey, here's a little fuel mileage tip for you. I just climbed up a hill and I'm just bopping across this plateau. I'm staying off the gas, staying off the fuel. I am slowing down. I've lost 5 miles an hour coasting across the top of here. I'm getting ready to just ride down a big old roller coaster. See that thing? Across that valley and up the other side. You guys see these little black wiggle waggles right there? Just watch them for a second. Look like little black snakes kind of slithering down the highway. 4 total snakes if you count them. You don't know what that is? That is somebody parked and slept behind us there on the side of the road. Pulled out on the highway without checking his wheels for being frozen. Always in the winter got to check your wheels. Make sure they're spinning because them brakes will freeze. Anyway, he drug them down the highway. They finally blew. We'll either see these things go off to the side up here, or you're gonna start seeing bigger chunks of rubber. One of the two. But always got to check those wheels. It happens. I get it. It's happened to good truckers, bad truckers alike. But that's a shame. That's a service call, and 2 new tires. Depending how far he goes, could potentially be 2 new rims if it goes far enough. A way to avoid frozen wheels: when you pull into park wherever you're going and you've been driving through a lot of blowing snow, whatever it is, don't set your brakes. I mean, you have to set them eventually, but if you can shut down. Oh, let's see, here it is. Now the other side is slammed. Yeah, he slammed on his brakes once he discovered it and pulled over to the side of the road. So the snakes went away, but the other side had about a 50-yard long double skid streak. Once he realized what happened, pulled over. Of course, it was too late to save your tires. Anyway, but when you park, just let your truck sit. You know, you need to be on a flat spot, of course, but while your truck's, you know, cooling down, or if you got some book work to do, whatever, let your truck sit. If you can let it sit for 30, 40 minutes, an hour before you set your brakes, those brake drums will cool off to the same temperature as the brake pads. Any moisture will have turned to ice. The longer you can leave it, the better. Hey, looky here. See that line again? This is a different truck, different road. Skidding those duals, skidding them. Again, this is 10 miles past that other place, but this is just back on the road after there's a truck stop behind us in Harlow Town, Montana. So we'll see. All right, guys, we're 6 hours down the road. Everything seems to be all right. Filter restrictions looking good. Cattle are a little wet. It's warmed up. Yeah, look out. Y'all just relax. They don't like being filmed, this crew, apparently. So I weighed myself at a scale, and I am just a little bit heavy. I didn't quite balance my load properly. One too many animals in the nose. This was way back hours ago, but I was about 2,000 pounds heavy on my truck and about 1,000 pounds under on my trailer. So I should have balanced it a little better, but it's been a long time since I put a maxed out load on old BLU3. Yeah, a little update from the road. A little foggy, you know. A little foggy. Settling in, it's about 11 p.m. Cattle are riding good. Things are rolling along. We're just bebopping. Gonna stop down in Denver. They've got like this honey hole of cheap diesel down around there. All the truck stops seem to be vying for business. So we're gonna stop down in there. We'll stuff her to the gills, give us a little caffeination situation to push us through the night. A little America right there. You can't tell, but that's the American flag. America. 5 o'clock and all is well. We are about 20 miles away from Scott City. Got a little bit of light freezing rain coming down. Nothing that seems to be making the road slick yet, but it's certainly sticking to the mirrors and the lines and antennas and such. Keep her steady. Oh baby, oh baby. Oh, the great pokey feeders. Look at this. See that ice? Woo, baby. Woo, baby. A little freezing rain for you. There's some cattle. This is one of the, I would say one of the most renowned feeders anyway. Or well-known, yeah, renowned, famous down here. Everybody knows old Pokey. We gotta get these dogies off of here. I don't even know if I'm going back to town. We might just find a spot over here to snooze it. That'd be if some of the fat cattle trucks, they start rolling in early in the morning. I can't remember how many cattle they feed here, but it is big. There's the chute. Did you feel that little bump? Oh. Again, I love this trailer for being able to do the double. That belly gate opens in so they can go out of the belly at the same time they come down off of the top. You see them coming there? Getting both decks done at once. Come on, Bubby. Hey. Of course. Well, they all came right off. Everyone looked good. Everybody walked out nice. Check out all these trucks. These are all the corn trucks coming in. They roll in through the night and park here. She's a man eater. Whoa, look at that thing. Yikes. Well, still foggy. Ah, the old whoosh-out. Fine little spot here called Burlington, Colorado. Somebody out there's got to live close to Burlington. Where you at? You ought to come wash me out. Well, that washout was completed. Everything went smooth. The trailer's clean. It was borderline. Top decks, back step. You know, could have shoveled them into the belly. Were it warm enough to have found water, I would have probably shoveled and watered. But such a nice little washout there at Burlington. I like supporting that little thing, and so we just rinsed her out. Next week I've got to haul some what we would call kill cows or cull cows to the packing house out in Idaho. Town of Alliance, Nebraska, big time BNSF railroad hub here. Do a lot of stuff here. Well, Rapid City, Black Hills, Deadwood, Sturgis. A little snow, you know. Gotta know your roads, know when they're slick, know when they're not. Looks horrible out here, right? Roads are actually really great. Visibility's not, I mean, it's not bad. You can still see half a mile, but it's been cold enough for long enough. This is all just blowing snow. You just don't know who you're gonna run into out here on the old road, the old Highway 212. Darkness of the night. Oh, did you catch it? When this JRM sweater rolled off the old print line there, I thought it would end up in the Arctic winters of Montana. Probably not. Sleep has never felt quite so good as it did last night, I can tell you that. Man. It's 10 degrees right now. I did get in. It's calm. It's not 10 degrees with the raging wind. By the time I got to where I was gonna sleep last night, the wind had calmed down. All that stuff you saw blown over the road last night had all died off. Actually, not hardly any snow. It's all blown away. Well, I pulled in here last night, shut my truck off, ran my bunk heater, and fired the truck this morning. It kept the whole cab warm, no problem. Kept the engine at 110 degrees, something like that, the antifreeze. So I hit the key this morning and just pop! Didn't even hardly turn over, just bam! And fired it off. Which, for an N14, if you've been around N14s, they, even new and fresh, like they do start a little slower than most big engines. They crank 2 or 3 times, it seems like. It's pretty common with an N14, at least all the 4 of them that I've ever had. So it was good. Air compressor, everything came right up. We're in good shape. Put air to the trailer. Brakes were just a little frozen, but not enough that I had to bang them off. On the truck here, I just put it in gear and busted it loose. Do a walk around real quick and do a walk around real slow, carefully and concise, and then we'll hit the road. I'm doing all right there. I topped off last night with diesel just plumb full to the gills. I was 100 miles ago. In fact, let's check that tire. I aired up that tire. It's a little low. I don't think it was leaking. I think it was just... Yeah, 85. That's still a touch low, but it's cold. When I aired it up yesterday, it was warm. Oh, wow. Crisp. See how that piles in there. I did get run off the road last night, legitimately, not exaggerating. Oh yeah. My least favorite thing about LED lights. I know you can get ones that make heat, but you always have to come back, wipe your stuff off. Legitimately got ran off of the road to where I had to drive with part of what I wanted to make sure I was good with out here is that I didn't poke any holes in any of these passenger side tires. Last night I'm driving along and freight truck, not from America, I will about guarantee you that. I know not all of you listening are from here either, but we've got a bad problem with all these Western Canadian trucks coming through on this Highway 212. I've talked about it before, but they just drive insane. They pass wherever they want, no regard to anything or anyone. I've watched them run cars off the road. I've called them, I've reported them to the highway patrol. So I'm driving along last night in the worst part of the snowing and blowing in Wyoming, this little corner of Wyoming you go through. I look up and I see big truck headlights coming right at me in my lane. And I'm like, what? It can't be right. And I'm like, no, it's right. It's a split second. I moved clear over, had to move my entire truck across the rumble strips, which left my driver's side between the rumble strip and whatever's left of the pavement, and my passenger side in the ditch, driving on the grass and snow and what would be the reflectors. It was between reflectors, thankfully. And so when the whole thing gets to me, and this is all, in the course of 3-4 seconds, when the oncoming traffic gets to me, it's a freight truck passing another freight truck we saw a lot of the visibility last night, just blowing and wild, and I didn't record any of this, but it got worse than that for about 15 miles and then kind of cleared off. But it's that stuff I'm just like, in the cold like this, when I first get going before I get too far out of town, I do like to kind of lug the engine. Of course, everything's warmed up good, but kind of shift and really get on it and demand a lot of fuel, just to see if there is any kind of hang up in the fuel lines from gelling or anything like that. You would want to have that manifest itself, before you get too far away from town, and somewhere you can take care of business a little bit or have access to some support. Hear that turbo working? That's when a lot of times, if you do gel up, if you're driving slow and easy, you won't really notice it until you start asking for power, and then you'll start to feel the flutter. And in the cold, if you start feeling the flutter, it ain't gonna fix itself. We're headed up to Jordan, Montana, because Freddie has a basketball game here in a few hours. We're about 2.5 hours away from Jordan. It's essentially the main reason why I've been needing this trip to go off so seamlessly, was because it's down to the minute between getting all the way down to Kansas, unloading, hustle all the way back up through. I did lose a fair bit of time. The short way home is to go back up through Wyoming, and that route last night looked like it was, well, I didn't follow up to see if the weather was correct, but it was supposed to fall apart real bad. Tell you what, if we can just get through Miles City and get out on the dang road, I think we'll be all right. They've struggled a bit here. We got this big old hill here that we're just gonna hammer across. Normally I would trust that it's plowed and sanded, but for some reason they have, here's the big Yellowstone River. Anyway, I better put the camera away here for a minute. Parked the big rig back there. Oh, this won't let me zoom in. Anyway, you can see it. It's too slick to park down here by the school. Hey, we're back. Hey, the basketball games went great. I made it with 10 minutes to spare. Now that's what's funny. You do this whole 2,000 whatever mile loop, and you end up getting there within 10 minutes. 10 minutes of the start of the ball game. It looks like I am sadly going to be driving right by my driveway to my house. And have to watch it go by as we continue back on, very close to where I loaded this load at, actually. Back over there and load out tonight and head on to Nebraska. Thankfully, these will not be the roads forever. Here's the thing again about these roads. These are not bad roads. You look at these, I mean, it looks like I'm on an Alaskan ice road, right? As far as what you can tell. Oh, there's a little yellow stripe, rumble strip, but it's not, this is not slick at all. It's 8 degrees, 9 degrees, sun's gone down, it's getting colder faster. The snow has a bite to it. I'm about through, let me think here, I'm about 3.5 hours away. Probably gonna have a little load of light calves, little 400-pound calves, which is considered light calves in the cattle world. We'll get them loaded up tonight. I do not want to load in the morning. I mean, I would love to load in the morning, but we're not gonna do that because night like this, the storm's kind of blowing through finally. Everyone's gonna use that as a reason to load in the morning. But I can't, my schedule's too tight again now, having to cram this into my weekend, that if I don't load tonight, it's going to put me at odds with some work that I already have scheduled for next week. So we will go, we will load, we will get down the road. I'll load them in such a way that they'll have room if they need to sit down, lay down, hang out, chill out while I take a big nap. We'll do her. But as of right now, it appears that BLU3 will continue to ride. Well, all that hullabaloo about having to go to Great Falls to load, and just talked to the buyer, and he said the market has drastically sharpened upward, and he's having trouble getting this third load put together. So I said, look, I am almost to my turnoff. I'm really dragging my feet, driving slow, not because the roads are that bad, but I'm trying to buy a little time because Rooster's on his way down with the tractor. We got so much snow here, I give my chance of making it up the county road to the ranch at about 10% with this truck and setup, as I've talked about. So I'm poking along. I can see way off in the distance there. I can see his lights. Trying to give him a little time to get down the road. I'll make a run at it, but I don't think I'll even get to the hill itself. I think I'll spin out before I even get to the hill. So I've chained up in the past when no one was around, middle of the night, to get up the hill. I will not chain when we got the four-wheel drive tractor waiting. What we do is put a hay bale in the grapple, and then these trailers all have the big rubber bumper in the back. So you just put that bale right on the bumper and give her a push up the hill. Once I get up the hill, then we're kind of home free. But I'm going to go ahead, and Rob's on the road for a couple weeks, so the shop's wide open. I'm going to go ahead and pull this whole thing right down into the shop. It should just fit in. If not, I'll do some rearranging to make it fit in. But we'll stick her down in the shop head first, and then I told the cow guys, I said, if by some drastic thing you end up miraculously getting this other load put together, don't call me. No, I didn't say that. I said, I'll do it, but not tonight. I said, I'm tucking this truck in, and once it's in, I'm not coming back out. So it will be a tomorrow deal where I will let it thaw out, de-ice, and head over there tomorrow. I barely made it off the highway. I knew this was going to happen. There's no way I'm going to make it up this road. That's a full foot of snow you're seeing there. And it's uphill. Just there's this slow uphill slant for about 150 yards, and then it goes up a big hill. And if it's bladed off, you can do it, but it's this deep of snow. You can tell cars and pickups have been struggling to get through here. Once I turned on here, I didn't even know that if I was going to make it just off the highway. I didn't think the truck would. I barely got straightened out and far enough to the right that Rooster can get by me down over here with the tractor. But whew, wow, there he is. Rooster man to the rescue. Okay. Gonna guide Rooster to make sure we get linked up. I'm gonna put him right on this bumper. There's a cross bumper and this bumper. So we'll put that bale right there. Boy, I tell you, we're up the hill now and on the flats, and I'm under my own power, but it's still clawing here plenty. I wish you could see how deep the camera just doesn't, from sitting up in a truck seat, it just doesn't do justice to the amount of snow that's sitting up on top here. Well, that didn't last very long. Oh, as soon as I got in the ranch yard and made the turn, I immediately trying to pull through all that snow. I just did not a chance. So I'm gonna open the shop doors. Rooster's about back. These are my shop steps. My goodness. Gonna get some lights on here. Yowzer, there. Let there be light. That'll give you a little idea. Snowfall there. Here's my foot in reference, my foot tall foot. There you go, there's my size 12 boot. Give you an idea of the snow. These are the days, you guys, where I am so thankful that I made the sacrifices I did and put the work in that I did when I was a young trucking man, to instead of take money and put it towards a payment on some big new shiny truck and look cool and all that jazz, I took all that money and I built a shop. First thing before I did anything, before I ever had any kind of remotely nice truck whatsoever. Heated shop. First thing, cash, paid cash. Retrofitted this thing from this old pole barn it was. Nights like this, you're like, well, there we go. Well, that'd be an easy way to measure the snow. Oh, we got her. We got her. She's in. Boy, Rooster had to do a lot of pushing and shoving. We got room in the back. Whew. You guys, I guess I'm not kidding when I say that I couldn't get out once I get in here, and there's no getting out. Because there will be no getting out until the ranch is dug out now. I couldn't get back out of here if life depended on it. In fact, yeah. I'm probably gonna need Rooster's help to get out of here when the time comes. I don't have another load until, assuming that deal tomorrow doesn't happen, I don't got another load for a few days till midweek. Oh, how wrong I was on that. I think within 1 hour of getting the shop doors closed, getting home, I got a phone call from the buyer, and he's like, hey, we ended up getting that load filled up, so how you looking? I said, I'm looking buried and locked in the shop. So I ended up spending the next day about 6 hours on the tractor, plowing snow, got everything pushed out, and then I went over and loaded those cattle at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Shot them on down to old Nebraska. Anyway, y'all, hope you enjoyed that little trip. Old BLU3's just out, you know, doing the deal. Grateful for it. Grateful to have a good backup truck that you can trust. Look at that, already dripping and melting snow out of here. Love that. Love it. But it's great to have a backup truck. I get teased a lot about having too many trucks. To get a good spare truck that you trust, can rely on, and keep going, to have as a backup chariot is invaluable. So, all right. Till next time, you guys. Be good.